Pain is something every human tries to avoid. We spend our lives running from it, distracting ourselves from it, hiding from it. We tell ourselves that pain is bad, that pain is something to escape, something to eliminate. But what if pain was never the enemy? What if pain was the teacher? Not the kind teacher that speaks gently, but the kind that shows you the truth, without comfort, without illusion. Because pain has a purpose. Pain interrupts your unconscious patterns. It forces you to stop, to reflect, to see what you were blind to before. When everything is comfortable, you don't question your life. You don't question your habits. You don't question your direction. Comfort creates illusion. It makes you believe everything is fine, even when it isn't. But pain destroys that illusion. Pain forces awareness. It forces you to confront reality. This is why the most important lessons in life are never learned during comfort. They are learned during loss, during failure, during rejection, during moments when everything you depended on collapses. Because pain removes distractions. It removes the noise. It leaves you alone with yourself. And in that silence, you begin to see clearly. You begin to see your weaknesses. Not to shame you, but to show you where you must grow. Pain reveals what comfort hides. A person who has never failed believes they are stronger than they really are. A person who has never been rejected believes they are invincible. A person who has never struggled believes life will always be easy. But pain corrects these illusions. It humbles you. It grounds you in reality. It shows you the truth. And truth is where growth begins. Pain also forces adaptation. The human mind is incredibly flexible. It adjusts, it evolves, it strengthens. But it only does this when it has to. When life is easy, there is no reason to change. No reason to grow, no reason to evolve. Pain creates that reason. Pain creates urgency. It forces transformation. Think about the moments that changed you. It wasn't the easy moments. It wasn't the comfortable days. It was the moments that broke you. The moments that forced you to become someone new. Because pain creates a choice. You can either remain the same or you can evolve. Most people misunderstand pain. They see it as punishment. But pain is not punishment. Pain is feedback. It is a signal that something must change, a signal that something must be understood, a signal that you are being pushed beyond your current limits. Without pain, there would be no growth. Your muscles grow through stress. Your mind grows through challenge. Your character grows through adversity. Pain is the resistance that creates strength. Without resistance, nothing strengthens. Another truth about pain is that it builds emotional resilience. Every time you survive pain, your mind becomes stronger. You realize that you can endure more than you thought. You realize that your fear was often worse than the reality. You realize that you are more capable than you believed. Pain expands your perception of your own strength. Before pain, you doubt yourself. After pain, you trust yourself because you have evidence. Evidence that you survived. Evidence that you endured. Evidence that you adapted. Pain also destroys false attachments. It removes people who were never meant to stay. It removes illusions that were never meant to last. It removes versions of yourself that were holding you back. And while this feels like loss, it is often redirection. Pain clears space. Space for growth, space for clarity, space for transformation. Another powerful truth is that pain forces self-awareness. When everything is fine, you live unconsciously. You follow routines without thinking. You follow patterns without questioning. But pain interrupts this autopilot. It forces introspection. It forces you to ask questions. Who am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? These questions create awareness, and awareness creates change. Pain also teaches emotional independence. It teaches you that not everything will go your way. It teaches you that people will disappoint you. It teaches you that life will challenge you. And through this, you learn to rely on yourself, not in isolation, but in strength. You stop expecting the world to protect you. You start learning to protect your own peace. This creates inner stability, a stability that cannot be easily shaken. Pain also teaches patience, because healing cannot be rushed, growth cannot be rushed, transformation cannot be rushed. Pain forces you to endure. to wait, to trust the process. And in that waiting, you develop emotional discipline. You learn to remain calm in uncertainty. You learn to remain strong in discomfort. This is where mental toughness is born, not in comfort, but in endurance. Another truth about pain is that it creates empathy. When you have suffered, you understand others who suffer. You become less judgmental, less arrogant, more aware. Pain softens the ego. It replaces arrogance with understanding. It replaces ignorance with wisdom. Because pain teaches what comfort never could. Pain also reveals what truly matters. When everything is taken away, you see clearly. You see what was important. You see what was meaningless. You see what deserves your energy. Pain removes distractions. It removes illusions. It leaves only truth, and truth creates clarity. Another powerful lesson pain teaches is detachment. It teaches you that nothing is permanent, not success, not failure, not pleasure, not pain. Everything changes and everything evolves. This understanding creates emotional balance. You stop clinging. You stop resisting. You begin to accept. And acceptance creates peace. Pain also teaches discipline. Because escaping pain often requires effort. It requires action. It requires change. Pain forces you to do what comfort never would. It forces you to improve. It forces you to evolve. It forces you to become stronger. Without pain, most people would never reach their potential. They would remain comfortable. They would remain stagnant. They would remain limited. Pain breaks those limits. Pain expands you. Pain reshapes you. Pain rebuilds you. But only if you allow it to teach you. Because pain itself does not create strength. Your response to pain creates strength. Some people experience pain and become bitter. Others experience pain and become wiser. The difference is awareness. When you see pain as an enemy, you resist it. When you see pain as a teacher, you learn from it. And learning creates growth. Growth creates strength. Strength creates freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from weakness. Freedom from the unconscious patterns that once controlled you. Pain also teaches you that you are stronger than you think. It shows you that you can survive what you once feared. It shows you that you can endure uncertainty. It shows you that you can rebuild. Again and again. This realization changes you. You stop fearing pain. You stop avoiding difficulty. You begin to trust yourself because you know that no matter what happens, you will adapt. You will endure. You will grow. And this is the ultimate lesson pain teaches. Pain does not come to destroy you. Pain comes to transform you. It comes to remove the weak version of you. It comes to reveal the strong version of you. It comes to guide you toward awareness, toward discipline, toward strength. Because in the end, pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. And those who learn from it become unstoppable. Pain also teaches you the difference between illusion and reality. Before pain, you believe things will last forever. You believe people will never change. You believe stability is permanent. But pain shows you the truth. It shows you that everything in life is temporary. Feelings change. Circumstances change. People change. You change. And while this realization can feel frightening, it is also liberating. Because once you accept that nothing is permanent, you stop clinging to temporary things. You stop building your identity on fragile foundations. You stop depending on things you cannot control. Instead, you begin building something stronger. You begin building yourself. Pain also teaches you self-respect. Because when you experience enough pain, you stop tolerating what hurts you. You stop accepting disrespect. You stop accepting environments that weaken you. You stop accepting behaviors that destroy your peace. Not because you become cold. Pain raises your standards. It forces you to choose yourself. Another important lesson pain teaches is patience with yourself. Pain teaches you to be patient with your progress. It is teaching you lessons that comfort never could. It is the moment where unconscious living ends and conscious living begins. And when you finally understand this, you stop fearing pain. You stop running from it. You face it. You learn from it. You grow from it. And you become someone who cannot be broken, only rebuilt, stronger each time.